Now, I'm going to speak slowly because I notice on the internet people like to criticize without listening or reading in fine-tooth comb detail the content of what is said and or printed. People in general are nincompoops in America. Just look at some of the videos that have over 1 million hits. What was that stupid video you meant?
The Duck Song #2.
Go to YouTube and search the Duck Song.
2.
I guess there's a Duck Song #1.
There's a Duck Song. There's 1, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, I'm sure there's a lot of this wasted garbage on the internet. The Duck Song Volume 2?
No, just 2.
2. As well as another stupid video.
The Gummy Bear Song.
The Gummy Bear Song. How many millions, how many hits did the Duck Song?
I believe the Duck Song 2 has 168 million.
What? 106, not 168,000. 168 million hits about a stupid song, a ridiculous song to a, is it a cartoon of a duck?
Cartoon.
This is where the priority of today's 21st century Americans are. This is what they care about. They don't care about the fact that they're living in the end times and their country is being destroyed by evil, greedy, conservative politicians. They don't care about that. They don't care if the tax burden is unfairly put on the middle class and the poor and the rich don't pay any taxes. They don't care about that. They care about the Gummy Bear Song. They care about the Duck Song. So anyway, this painting is premature. It's far from being finished.
It's a premature ejaculation.
It's a premature ejaculation of watercolor paint. This painting is far from being finished. The Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman and myself do not want to hear any criticism about the painting because it is a young, premature, ejaculated watercolor painting.
Yeah.
Okay? It is obviously a landscape. See it? This is what a young, completely unfinished watercolor painting usually looks like. I've shown them before. Got that? Got it. It is not finished yet.
Cool.
So I don't want to hear any bullshit from you jabronis out there with your criticism. Just like this jabroni, I'm going to mention his name because I'm really pissed off this guy, Pete DiLorenzo, who is a friend of Ken Create, the Renaissance man Ken Create, criticizing the video show of rock band Cooper's Dignity when they played with the Renaissance man Ken Create at Jimmy D's, I guess it's called Blues Bar, Jimmy D's Blues Club or Blues Bar in North Bergen, New Jersey, and he was nitpicking about it, the quality, and forgetting the fact that it's a club. You have dim lighting in a club. It is not a professional soundproof recording studio. You have unwanted noises that are blurted out from intoxicated people from all different directions. You have people hollering and screaming and drowning out some of the singing of the band. But overall, the sound was pretty good. And the lighting is the lighting. What can be done? You know, like the emperor, what is it, the Pow of the planet Vulcan, when she said, "The weather is the weather. What can be done?"
What can you do?
That was, what was that? It was Bones. Dr. McCoy was complaining about the heat, extreme heat of Vulcan, when Kirk was fighting Spock. Remember? The weather is the weather. What can be done? Yeah, it was a Vulcan with a Jewish
accent.
Yeah, with a Eastern European Jewish accent.
Nimoy is Jewish.
Leonard Nimoy. Maybe that was his mother.
That's where he got the sign from. The Vulcan.
Wait a minute. Maybe DePau was his relative. Since Leonard Nimoy is Jewish. The weather is the weather. What can be done? I swear that's the way it sounded. But anyway,
should have had Jackie Mason in there.
yeah, the weather is the weather. What can be done? Listen, the weather is the video is the environment of the video was not controlled, but no, these arrogant know-it-alls that always have to make themselves bigger than what they really are, for possibly due to certain insecurities. They have to shoot their mouth off and criticize without studying the facts, without knowing the facts. But that's common, Dr. Bill. Isn't that something that happens in politics too?
Most people who are insecure do that sort of stuff. Now, if they are criticizing you or something like that, it would best be to ignore it, because if it's on the internet, there's people which are what are called flamers.
Pieces of shit, assholes.
They like to go anywhere. You see them in chat.
But they'll never do it to your face.
Yeah. Well, that's the anonymity.
Jabroni.
The anonymity of the internet.
Yeah, I'll give them anonymity. What the fuck?
Anonymity.
Anonymity?
Yeah. But
Sounds
anyway,
like a sea anemone.
They like that in the internet, so that
Face to face
with their stuff.
I give them some free shots to my steel abdomens. Here,
Yeah. Well,
you jabroni, you'll never do it to my face.
They like to get stuff.
I'm a big mother Fletcher.
They like to stir the
In person.
shit.
They like to stir. Hold on. Like a witch's cauldron, like a bruja. They like to stir the shit, but they do it through text. They do it through cyberspace because they don't have the guts to do it to your face. Let me tell you something, jabroni. It's a club. If I was at a concert, if we were at a concert, video recording a concert, it would be even worse because there's more people and there's more screaming.
Actually, the gentleman in question sounds like he hasn't watched a lot of videos on YouTube.
Sounds like he needs a fucking uppercut right under his jaw.
Because many videos on YouTube, professionally singers and etc., are badly done.
Yeah. But the point is, if it's not a controlled environment, if it's not a recording studio that's soundproof, you have very little control over what happens. Look at here. All right. We chose not to use the state-of-the-art studio. We have access to a state-of-the-art, ultra-modern, soundproof studio. This is the Newsletter Censored Research Center. Okay? We have access to many things because we're a solid organization. Solid, you hear me? Progressive liberal, too. There's not too many of us left. But anyway, we chose, well, I'm the one. Well, Dr. Bill kind of agreed. We chose to go au naturel. We got the door open, the hatch. We have the breeze. We have the cosmic...
What is this, a submarine?
We have the
hatch is open.
We have the cosmic dust coming in. The gamma rays.
The radiation from Fukushima.
Fukushima, the solar flares. Sometimes we got sun. Today we have no sun, but we have, indirect daylight. It's overcast. We got Old Glory, what Republicans, what conservatives love to bow down to and give you that patriotic crap, which is a lie. That they wouldn't be outsourcing your jobs. We got Old Glory blowing as the breeze comes in. Woo! We got the sight and sound of what's outside. Unfortunately, we got to put up with the racket because there's assholes that have no life in the area that do not know what we're doing. These people don't have an agenda. They go through the same motions every day. They get up, they have breakfast, or if they get up late, they have lunch or brunch. They read the paper maybe. They sit in front of the TV. They eat junk food. They go to work. They pay bills. They might go to a bar and blow all their money once a week. Get drunk, drink and puke. They may have a hobby here and there, but they don't do what we do. They don't realize there is a war against the forces of evil. There is a political war. This country is being destroyed, lock, stock, and barrel. And you people are believing the Tea Party lies. You're believing it. You're believing the Republican Party when they tell you that the tax burden and the economy and the lack of jobs were caused by the supposed tax and spend liberals. Oh, tax it like Reagan. Tax and spend, tax and spend, tax and spend.
Welfare queens.
Welfare queens, welfare cheats, pork barrel spending, freeloaders, pork barrel spending, tax and spend. And then you got Donald Trump, before I forget. Of course, Donald Trump, by the way, getting back to Anthony Weiner, Brother Weiner. Hey, Brother Weiner. Donald Trump, with his bloated face, his bloated goldfish face, and his Dennis the Menace hairdo, says, I always knew he was a psycho.
He said that?
Yes, he said that. I heard him.
I didn't see it.
He says, I always knew Anthony Weiner was a psycho. Of course he jumped right on it and sided with the Republicans. Of course. Donald Trump, a rich elitist, just like all elitists, probably vote conservative every time. They vote Republican because they don't want to pay any taxes. They're greedy. They don't want to pay any taxes. They don't care about the little guy. So naturally, he's going to side with Republicans and call Anthony Weiner a psycho. It's a psycho to have a God. Well, what must Donald Trump say about people with fetishes?
Oh,
Oy.
my God.
If Anthony Weiner is a psycho to Donald Trump, the bloated goldfish with the Dennis the Menace hair, then what would he say if somebody had a sexual preference that was considered a fetish?
Or what would he say if he spent a couple of hours at a chat dedicated to spanking or something of that nature?
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Hypocrites, what about their sins? A sin is a sin, according to God in the Bible. A sin is a sin. Anyway, I think I've exhausted the subject. But Brother Weiner, you will get many offers, just like Arnold Schwarzenegger's former housekeeper, mistress, the amply married,
You know, I have never seen a picture
Mildred
of her
Pena.
yet. Not a picture that would show that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, Andrew Anderson does not like her features, but she's an attractive older woman. But Andrew Anderson is repulsed by her, but she's rather large.
I have never seen it.
You know, in American slang, she has a big rack. She's
got a big rack.
She has big jugs.
Continuing. Have you seen movies and TV shows featuring dolphins?
Oh, dolphins again.
Flipper.
Yeah, I like Flipper. They call him Flipper, faster than light. Remember that song? That was the 1960s series?
Maybe you have even seen dolphins in the wild or performing in shows.
What did I say? Speak of the devil.
People love to watch dolphins.
You miserable bastards. You should be boycotting the exploitation of these animals.
They are playful.
They're
look
cute.
friendly. And often want to be with people.
Dolphins, like cats, have built-in smiles on their faces. You ever see them sideways, the profile of a dolphin or a cat? Or a leopard gecko, which I happen to love. I used to have them. They have a cute built-in smile.
But scientists still know very little about them.
Yeah.
To find out some of what we do know, they went to SeaWorld. Dolphins are actually small whales.
That is true.
There are two groups of whales, those with teeth and those without.
Called baleines.
Dolphins fall into the group with teeth.
Yeah, baleines filter plankton, phytoplankton, out of the ocean water.
Along with killer whales and porpoises.
And then the giant blue whale, the gray whale, and the humpback whale and the right whale are baleen whales. They have a feathery substance like a coffee filter. They filter the plankton out, and then they remove the plankton and swallow it by using their tongues, supposedly. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Dolphins are not fish. They are mammals, just like you and me.
Any American that thinks that a dolphin's a fish should be used as chum for bull sharks.
Or for crabbing.
Yeah, for crabbing.
Down in Bayonne.
In the Bering Sea.
There are about 36 different types or species of dolphins. Most of the species live in oceans throughout the world. The majority are found in medium temperature or temperate seas or in hot or tropical waters. The well-known bottlenose lives in waters along the coasts of the world's seas. It may migrate into river mouths or inland waters that are not quite as salty as ocean water. That's what happens in the Shrewsbury River here in New Jersey.
Yeah, freshwater river. They found dolphins, a dolphin that will not leave, that will not go back into the ocean.
Yeah, they were there all winter.
Did they survive or die?
A couple of them died, but as far as I know, if they're still there, they survived the winter.
I wonder why they did that.
Many species live thousands of miles from the shore. Scientists know little about most of these dolphins. 4 species of dolphins live in large rivers in Asia and South America. They are distant cousins of ocean dolphins. Like all mammals, dolphins must breathe air. They breathe through a hole in their heads called a blowhole.
Ah, the blowhole. The blowhole. Isn't that what Anthony Weiner was looking for on the internet? A blowhole?
I think maybe Mr. Weiner was looking for a blowjob.
A blowjob? A nice knob polishing? Getting the old knob polished? See? Polish on my shillelagh?
Or to tickle his pickle, either way.
Tickle his pickle. Wax his bishop. Maybe he waxed his bishop.
He was a chess player. He wanted to wax his bishop.
Yes. Half bishop will travel.
There you go. A muscular covering. The blowhole is a muscular covering which blocks the blowhole.
So is Anthony Weiner muscular covering?
A muscular covering.
Yes.
Blocks the blowhole when the dolphin is underwater. This keeps water.
Drowning, right.
The dolphin holds its breath underwater.
Yeah, we can't do that. We have to use a nose plug of some sort. So.
Yeah.
Very interesting. You know, we're animal lovers here at Newsletter Censored. We're not necessarily people lovers, but we're animal lovers. Animals are like innocent children. You know.
A high-fat, ketogenic diet.
Am I psychic or what? When I ramble at the beginning of this show, I have no idea what these articles are going to be about. I just want you people to know that. Go ahead.
The ketogenic diet may reverse the kidney damage caused by diabetes. A study published online Wednesday by the journal PLOS1 reports.
But the American Dietetic Association accuses the high-protein ketogenic diet to be damaging to kidneys because of the nitrogen.
The ketogenic diet
Isn't it funny?
Is used in epilepsy.
So what are
It's
they?
used in, there was a program on the other day. The kid had the problem, and the ketogenic diet was what he was on.
Now where does the American Dietetic Association and allopathic drug-pushing American Medical Association, where do they get their facts from?
They don't deal in facts.
About the ketogenic, high-protein, low-carb Atkins-type diet being harmful to your health?
Carbohydrates. That's what they push. There's a commercial running right now.
You think it's maybe because of lobbyists from the American crap, toxic food industry?
Absolutely.
You think it could be it?
There's a commercial running for high fructose corn syrup.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and now they're contrasting high fructose corn syrup with regular sugar, and the body can't tell the difference.
Yeah, they can go fructose themselves.
Well, what does that have
They
to
can
do?
fruck themselves.
But the point is, they're both they're both disgusting and dangerous.
Listen,
So, just because the body can't tell the difference between them, what the hell?
anything that ends in the letters O-S-E, OS. I don't care if it's fructose, maltose, lactose. It's a sugar.
Breakfast toast?
No, it's a sugar. You know, just like what is it? Sorbitol. A tol is an alcohol, right?
These are alcohols.
A tol or ketone. A tone is a hormone, right?
Ketone is a
Horn?
is the breakdown of fat.
Yeah. No, I mean like sometimes an OL is a hormone, like the steroid anadrol,
Glycerol, cholesterol.
Well, you know, dietary cholesterol is very vital. It is crucial for the production of sex hormones in the body. Actually, it's the raw material for important sex hormones for men and women. So the dietary cholesterol in your egg yolks and in your shellfish or liver, you know, I mean, like if you eat, you know, if you like calf's liver, is not a problem. The problem is the sugar, your blood sugar level from refined carbohydrates,
Which raise your triglycerides and your fats in the blood
and
and allow them to become oxidized.
Yeah, and the bad cholesterol, your low density lipoproteins, as opposed to the good cholesterol, which is high density lipoproteins, your LDL goes up with the triglycerides. That is from high blood sugar, not created by cholesterol in the diet, but created by sugar consumption, and that's what causes the lesion in your arterial wall and thus becomes a trap for plaque.
And then calcium covers over it
Yeah,
to try to heal it.
right.
You got a problem.
Now the lesion is caused by free radical damage, I believe, through the oxidation
To the cell wall, yes.
of LDL cholesterol, the cell wall. Yeah, I know. We're not going to talk about Harold Camping. The oxidation of. You know, I was listening to him. He twists. He's not only good at lying to people, he twists the lies he tells.
He gets away with it.
And gets away with it, and people send him money. Anyway, continuing.
Past research has shown that lowering blood sugar through diet can prevent kidney failure, but not reverse it in patients with diabetes. Lead author Charles Mobbs, a neuroscientist at the Mount Sinai Medical Center in New York City, said that this study, in which mice were fed a high-fat diet of 5% carbohydrate, 8% protein, and a whopping 87% fat, was the first to show that dietary intervention alone
Yeah,
is enough to reverse kidney failure caused by diabetes.
interesting.
This finding has significant implications for the tens of thousands of Americans diagnosed with diabetic kidney failure and other complications. That's hopeful news, but there's a serious problem. Following a ketogenic diet is brutal.
It's brutal if you don't take in enough fats to stabilize your blood sugar, and then you become hungry.
A November 2010 article in the New York Times Magazine detailed one family's experience putting their young son on the diet to treat his epilepsy.
Mm-hmm.
The boy isn't allowed to eat such staples. Now get this. The operative word here is staples.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind.
Right.
The boy is not allowed to eat such staples as cookies,
Oh God.
macaroni, and cheese.
Oh, white flour, white
Staples.
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 Not like.
When the hell did a cookie become a staple?
Yeah. Why is a cookie? Isn't that? Didn't Ronald Reagan call a
Jelly bean.
ketchup
Ketchup, yes.
a vegetable?
A vegetable, that's
And meanwhile, there's corn syrup in ketchup. Or Oscar Madison in The Odd Couple used to call it tomato wine. Ketchup. Nah, cookie is a staple. And what was the other one?
Macaroni and cheese.
Well,
Mac and cheese.
Well, I don't know about you, but I eat the organic whole wheat pasta from Whole Foods. That's a staple. Not cheap Kraft, or should I say Kraft macaroni and
Crap
cheese.
macaroni.
It's white flour.
His mother has to weigh every morsel that passes his lips. At the time the article was published, he had been on the diet for almost 2 years. We figure that in an average week, Sam consumes a quart and a third of heavy cream, nearly a stick and a half of butter, 13 teaspoons of coconut oil, 20 slices of bacon, and 9 eggs. Not a lot.
No.
For a week?
No, not for a
9
week.
eggs for a week?
No, not for a
What is
week.
the other food?
Well, you know, butter is a rich source of fat-soluble vitamins too, from what I understand. Vitamin A, D, E, and K.
Yeah, but where's the other food? Where's the meat?
And
Where's the
coconut
potatoes?
oil is
Where's
great.
The, you know, where's the meat? Where's the potato?
Yeah, where's the meat? That's true.
Where's the beef?
Yeah, that was an old commercial. The old lady. Hey, well, she died, I think. Yeah, where's the beef? Where's the beef? Anyway,
the father says that the ketogenic diet is only for the desperate. Mobbs and his co-authors admit that the ketogenic diet is probably too extreme for chronic use in adult patients. But they suggest as well that it is plausible that only transient exposure to the diet will, in effect, reset the pathological process. Or it is possible that a pharmacological intervention that mimics these effects, a
drugs.
might be sufficient to reverse pathology.
See, they go right to the pharmaceutical because of the money to be made, the moolah.
While it may sound nice to chow down daily on butter and cream, it's not something most people would want to do for any extended period of time.
Listen, as long as you are overweight, you need to force your body to create ketones to mobilize and utilize the body fat as energy. Normally, the body uses carbohydrates, blood sugar, the glucose level, as energy, but fat, if given the choice, the human body prefers fat as a source of energy over the glucose,
The brain.
over the carbs. The brain too. The brain there's a high percentage of lecithin and fat in the brain, correct?
When you call a person a fathead, you're being very literal.
It is a
Because
fat
the
head,
brain
yeah.
is a bunch of fat.
But like, if somebody's obese, if somebody's has excess adipose tissue, for those of you that don't know what that means, it's fat cells, the white fat cells, not the healthy brown fat cells, which is another talk show. But if you are obese, if you are overweight, even if you have 10, 20 pounds that you need to get rid of body fat, you need to continue a ketogenic, high protein, low carb diet. You need to stay on it. It's not the temporary transient thing that this guy's talking about in the article. You need to stay on it as long as you're overweight. You need to force your body to burn the fat for energy. Now, once you reach your desired healthy weight and you're lean, then you could reintroduce more and more healthy carbohydrates with a lot of fiber, salads, vegetables.
Low glycemic.
Yeah, low glycemic index carbs, high fiber whole grain cereals. They cannot be high on the glycemic index. Okay, for anybody, even if you're thin, you should not be consuming refined carbohydrates. You should not be consuming white flour and white sugar at all. No white rice. It should be brown rice. And I'll give you an example. If you want to lose weight, carrots and tomatoes and white potatoes are high on the glycemic index chart. Like white potatoes, I think are even
higher than ice cream.
Yeah, you hear that? Higher than ice cream. Oh, by the way, those so-called staples that you mentioned before,
Cookies.
like cookies and cheap white flour macaroni and cheese, that's the kind of crap that they give the poor at food pantries. You do not select what you want. They have.
You mean they don't get T-bones?
No, but what if somebody doesn't want? I inquired one time. What if somebody doesn't want the garbage, and they want to? Do you have packages that can be, where they can omit certain things and emphasize other things? They go, no, you got to take the package as is. There's always a catch to anything the government offers out of compassion to the poor. In this case, you get garbage. Just like they gave those poor Native Americans in Arizona poisonous crap when their water supply was cut off and they couldn't use it for farming, and that was on 60 Minutes, I think, years ago. But anyway, anytime you're not an elitist and you need help, there's always a catch.
Well, the elites say, and there is, I think it is Tim Pawlenty running for president with the Republican Party. I believe he is of the opinion that if you just don't allow the rich to pay taxes and corporations, they will just be so charitable that we don't need things like welfare and food stamps.
Oh, really?
And the like.
They'll be charitable?
Oh, yes, yes.
They'll
Really?
be magnanimous.
Magnanimous, philanthropical. Really?
Yes.
What do they think? All rich people in America are Bruce Wayne?
If that were so, how come the figures, the statistics show that poor people and the middle class give more to charities than the rich?
The rich are the cheapest bastards around. They probably give the smallest tips at a restaurant, the smallest propinas.
That too.
Yeah, they are cheap fucks, man. They don't want to. Oh, they're bad. They have no compassion. They're not going to give. And you can't impose the poor on their families and relatives and local churches. It's all they're trying to sweep the problem of the poor under the carpet and think it'll go away, right?
Well, if people are of like mind, as you just suggest, they might be interested in the new article for Censored, because that is the premise.
The United States never was a Christian nation.
This country. Yes,
This country
was never.
never, is never, and never will be a Christian nation.
And if it were, there would be no poor in it. And since we do have a lot of poor, ipso facto, ergo, it is not a Christian nation. Never was.
Well, if it was a Christian nation, regardless of political party, the tax burden will be on the rich. Outsourcing of jobs will be discouraged severely, because if you bring your product back into the United States, it will be tariffed heavily. There will be no offshore tax haven, no tax havens for the rich. The rich will pay the original 91% tax rate. More money, because the middle class and the poor will pay very little taxes. More money will go in the pockets of the true consumer, which is the little guy. More jobs will be created by the true backbone of the U.S. economy traditionally, which is not the fat cat corporations. It is the small businesses. The small middle class businesses are the backbone. We're always the backbone. And the military will be cut severely. You won't have a bloated military budget. You will not have any Wall Street welfare bailouts at all. And everything will be hunky-dory. and companies will be honest because they will be regulated properly, and there will be no you'll minimize ill-gotten gains and things like that, and there will be plenty of money, plenty, more than enough money for social programs to help the poor. So the homeless will have a job and a clean place to live, and then and only then will America be a Christian nation. Other than that, it's not. It's not. And most likely, because we're living in the end times, it probably will never be.
Until the millennium.
Until the millennium, which will be the second coming of Jesus. Okay, we have time for one last article.
Governor
You
Christie.
got- Balloon Boy. We haven't talked about him all day.
Has had no problem directing blame at others when faced with the difficult questions or second guessing that comes with such a high-profile job. Partisan hacks, Obama bureaucrats,
Yeah.
and a restless media are among the many targets the governor has blamed while addressing the tough situations during his term as governor, as well as during the campaign that preceded it. Christie blamed a slow news week in late December when most newscasts opened with questions about his administration's response to a crippling snowstorm that the governor missed while vacationing in Florida. A few months earlier, after the Christie administration lost out on a chance to receive a $400 million federal education grant, largely due to an error on its application, the governor lashed out at Obama's bureaucrats in Washington. And just last week, after Christie drew negative attention for using a state police helicopter to shuttle him between private events, the governor pointed his finger at the hacks of the Democratic Party for making the helicopter trip a big issue.
A big issue for making it using taxpayers' money for personal use by any politician is a small issue to Chris Christie.
Yeah, obviously.
What a hypocrite this guy is. He's a political bully, a hypocrite, lacks compassion, greedy, self-centered, self-serving. Did anybody ever kick his ass in school? I'm wondering, before he became a lawyer and a politician.
I don't know.
Yeah, I swear, if I would have went to school with somebody like him, I would love to invite him out in the schoolyard for a little duking out, you know.
Here's a closer look at how Christie has explained some of the more challenging times he's faced in the public eye.
Yeah.
The governor, who's criticized other politicians for wasteful spending and abuse of government perks, used the state police helicopter last Tuesday to travel from Mercer County to his son's baseball game in Montvale, and then back to Mercer County to dine with Iowa Republicans who want him to run for president.
And he's not too shy about dining, by the way.
Yeah, that's for sure. He said the state police's security detail decides when to use the helicopter to meet his travel demands, but added, ultimately, these are my judgments. Christie and the New Jersey Republican Party reimbursed the state for the cost of the helicopter trip, but only because he said the story had become a distraction fueled by the media and Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are a joke. And this is why the people of New Jersey reject that kind of politics, Christie said. So the Democrats are a joke.
Oh,
Because
poor
they're trying
thing.
to keep Christie in line.
Poor. Oh, yeah. Oh, heaven forbid anybody should reprimand him or scold him or prove him wrong or stop him from doing something that's not honest and ethical.
Correct.
Heaven forbid. Hey, don't the Republicans always scream about taxpayers' money, taxpayers' money when you have a social program to help the poor? They're always crying about you're using taxpayers' money, taxpayers' money.
Giving it to freeloaders.
You're giving it to freeloaders. They're lazy louts. Oh, they don't want to work. Oh, they don't want to work. Oh, welfare cheats. Blah, 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 blah. When it comes to the poor. But when it comes to the fat cats, like literally like him, using taxpayers' money for personal use and pleasure, oh, but that's okay to the conservative Republican. That's okay.
And I am not going to allow the media and the hacks in the Democratic Party to turn this into something that allows them to do what they always like to do, which is get away from the serious issues where they have to make hard choices for things that matter because they want to have a circus.
Things that matter. The Democrats are not focusing on things that matter. So I guess misusing tax dollars after you know, since the rich are not paying any taxes at all, misusing tax dollars is a very small, frivolous matter to Christie, right?
And taking away jobs when we're supposed to be creating jobs. That's not a serious matter.
Oh yeah, or him cutting all those teacher jobs.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's not a serious matter. Even like for instance, if you go to like Division of Motor Vehicle or what's that other like at any time you go somewhere that's funded by the state or county, now that Chris Christie's the governor of New Jersey, you have to wait on long lines now where you really didn't have long lines before, and you have to be inconvenienced. And I'm sure Chris Christie and his family and friends do not have to wait on long lines anywhere, because of the Republican cuts to everything that doesn't involve the rich. You have long lines to wait on.
Christie's administration applied for a $400 million education grant from the federal government at a time when his administration was cutting aid to school districts by more than $800 million. But a mistake was made on the application, and New Jersey's bid for the funds fell short. Christie said his Department of Education put the wrong piece of paper in the application, but added, "I'm ultimately responsible for everything that happens here." Despite owning up to his administration's error, Christie said the Obama administration should have called his staff or looked at New Jersey budget data online to find the correct information omitted from the state's application. Does anybody in Washington, D.C. have a lick of common sense? Pick up the phone and ask us for the correct number, he said. That's stuff the Obama administration should answer for. Are you just down there checking boxes like mindless drones? When President Obama comes back to New Jersey, he's going to have to explain to the people of New Jersey why he's depriving them of $400 million that this application earned. A massive snowstorm hit New Jersey late on Christmas Day, while Christie was on vacation in Florida with his family. Although the governor said he was in constant contact with officials back in New Jersey who were handling roadside rescues and other emergencies related to the snowfall, Christie drew fire for being out of state, while Lieutenant Governor Kim Guadagno also was traveling.
Whatever.
Nobody can say her name.
Maybe that's why they couldn't find her.
And she was on vacation too.
Yeah, but they never mention. They always blame the guy on top, Obama. They don't mention all the conservatives in the $400 million to go to New Jersey.
Well, it wasn't a denial. It was a stupid mistake by Christie. Christie withdrew. Schundler was the educational guy there, Brett
Right.
Schundler.
And
He admitted it, that Christie.
Yeah, he admitted that Christie took the application and held it over the weekend, and then when it came back, it didn't have the information
So
on it.
instead of admitting he was wrong and apologizing, he's using scapegoats.
Scapegoats.
He's blaming, of course, the Democrats, and you know, even if he got the $400 million, I wonder exactly what
He'd still be firing teachers and everything else.
Crisco Christie would do with the federal $400 million.
Probably give a tax cut to the rich.
Yeah, he wouldn't be He wouldn't be bringing back even more food pantries for the poor and homeless. He wouldn't be bringing back Planned Parenthood. I'm sure he wouldn't be bringing back all the social services that we used to have
No.
in New Jersey for the poor under what would be Corzine. What about the other guy, the other Democrat, Jim McGreevey?
Cody.
Yeah, under the Democratic governors. You know, oh no, I'm sure he would be allocating it to help the big boys.
He said the New Jersey Department of Transportation and the state police primarily handled the storm response and praised them for doing a very good job here. Not a perfect job, but a very good job. He also said, I wouldn't change the decision even if I could do it right now. There's got to be a time when I'm a father first. Christie's administration attributed the negative attention his administration received for his absence and the length of time it took to clear some roads and highways to Monday morning quarterbacking, carping, and complaining. As the partisanship rose, as the fact that it's like kind of a slow news week and everybody loves to report on weather, you need something to talk about. I understand that, he said, but all the carping and craziness, how could I leave the state stranded? I was on the phone, not only with my staff, but with members of the press. This is just partisanship and kind of the nature of the time of year. Christie, a former United States attorney who cracked down on political corruption, had to deal with several unflattering stories while he was running for office against then incumbent Democrat John Corzine. By late summer, the campaign issues included Christie's sometimes expensive, taxpayer-funded travel habits, a 2005 speeding ticket, and a $46,000 loan from Christie to another federal prosecutor, who now works for the governor. That was omitted from his financial disclosure form. Christie addressed each of the issues with varying levels of accountability. He said, I made a mistake. When asked about the disclosure form omission. On travel, he said, the U.S. Attorney's staff always went for government rates first when it came to booking rooms, but added, I didn't make my own hotel reservations. And on the speeding ticket issue, a spokesman quipped, Chris got detention in 9th grade for too much talking in class. So what, speeding ticket was nothing?
Yeah.
Is that what it amounts to? Of course, nobody brought up the fact that when he was driving down a one-way street, he hit a guy on a motorcycle and then tried to blame the other guy for the accident.
He was going down a one-way street.
The wrong way.
And he tried to blame the person he ran over.
Yeah.
Incredible. He was involved.
And he's got other driving violations.
But he was guilty of a moving violation and blame. So he has a history of always blaming somebody else for his obvious mistakes.
Yep. As the summer wore on and the negative advertising continued on TV, Christie deflected attention from the loan travel speeding ticket by criticizing Corzine for choosing a campaign message that wasn't focused on the very real problems in New Jersey. It's not about politics. It's not about the petty bickering you've seen all summer, Christie said. It's not about the labels the chattering classes like to give us. And it's certainly not about trivial issues which trivialize the very real problems that you, your neighbors, your friends, and relatives are suffering every day.
He's a pip, to say the least, no doubt. Crisco Balloon Boy Christie is one of a kind. He is definitely a character and a pip, and
the Republicans have it down pat how they can sound so populist and so compassionate.
you know, they should take an old political satire drawing of J.P. Morgan. Didn't they make him like give him a fat body with like a Monopoly man top hat and tuxedo with tails and holding a bag of money, you know, with a dollar sign on it?
Yeah.
He'd be perfect. Just put Chris Christie's bloated goldfish, fat face with Cupid puckering lips in that political satire drawing, and he should be the poster boy for all modern day conservative Republicans for 2012. He's perfect.
And they want him to run for president.
Oh, of course they want him to run. He's the perfect poster boy for conservatives. He represents everything that the devil's economics is about. He's perfect for it.
Even the gluttony.
Even the gluttony. Even the gluttony. I can just picture him hogging a banquet for himself and having poor people outside starving. You know,
That'd be a great picture.
that'd be a great satire, political cartoon. You know, and you know, having him hogging everything would represent what conservatives.
On Thanksgiving, they could have him go in to the pantry, the food pantry, where they always serve the turkey and the gravy and the mashed potatoes, and him go in there and slop up about 3 or 4 dishes that could have been given to other people.
Interesting.
Great.
You know, if anybody, if anyone who is an artist out there that's great at drawing, you should definitely, you know, get your political satires published. If you can, like, make it look like Chris Christie is the poster boy for conservatives and making him, you know, portraying him as a gluttonous, greedy, selfish, mean-spirited conservative, and showing it like, you know, like him at a Thanksgiving Day dinner, and the poor get the stuffing, and he gets everything else.
Well, they've been lucky if they get the stuffing.
In other words, they want to cull the herd, basically. They want the poor to simply perish
Disappear.
or become enslaved
That's even better.
to work for slave wages or nothing.
Put them in a FEMA camps and make them make license plates.
What if they're in a FEMA camp
Wait.
and they refuse to make license plates for minimum wage or nothing?
Well, then starve them to death on the crap food that you'll be feeding them.
Yeah, well, that's what you get in
Save money.
soup kitchens, and in food pantries. You get
Prison and schools.
you get shit.
Yeah.
You get shit, you know. But anyway,
Powdered eggs.
powdered eggs are not that bad. I had it in the Navy.
But that's oxidized cholesterol going right in.
Oh, really? It's crap. What do they care? What do they care?
Cheap.
You know, they don't care about young military personnel dying for oil companies, so I guess they don't care what they feed them. They don't give a shit.
They do care if they come home, though. They don't want them to come home. Die on the battlefield.
In other words, it's cheaper to the conservative for the young, poor, or middle class kid to die on the battlefield than for him to fight in Iraq, Afghanistan, whatever, and come back
With a leg missing.
with a leg missing,
You know,
because
or have your brain blown off.
because they hate, you know, lose your eyesight. They hate social programs because the evil rich do not want to pay any taxes at all. Donald Trump, people like him and all his buddies, look closely to see if you can find little horns starting to protrude from the front of his skull. You know what I mean?
Maybe that's why he has such long hair. It's covering him up.
Could be covering him up. Well, the Bible said it's impossible for the rich man to get into kingdom of heaven. Jesus said it himself.
I quote that.
Yeah, was that Mark or John?
Matthew.
Matthew.
Mark, and it's in 3 places.
It's in John too, isn't it?
It's in 3, not John. It's in 3 places. Luke.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for joining us for discussions. This is Discussions Volume 7. Because it's the 7th month.
It's the 6th month.
No, 6th month was May. This is June.
This is June 6th.
No. We started doing discussions with the new format
January.
of doing the video here with you and me on video. We started it in December.
So December is number 1.
Before that, we only did discussions for the radio, for Pirate Radio Network, for only the audio part. But we got the idea of combining the two and doing it on video and radio December of 2010, I believe.
Yeah.
So it is Volume 7. Take care. Say so long to everybody.
Hasta luego.